God's people. Hello, my people. Hello, throne room people. Thank you for joining my podcast. Thank you for joining this devotion, throne room divulgence devotions. Divulgence is the releasing of sensitive and private information from God's mouth to your spirit. So I just want to thank you. I enjoy spending this time and doing these devotions with you. And my hopes are that you get strengthened by them, that you get closer to God through them. We need each other. In these days, we need each other. Maybe you don't have time to go places and look for devotions, and maybe you don't trust many devotions that are out there, or maybe you just don't know how to find a devotion. But at least here you can find me on Venmo app. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on YouTube. And I also connect these on Twitter as well, and on my personal webpage, which is evangelistphilmarte.com, and on my Facebook page, it's Phil Ginger Ministries, and you can join us there as well. So thank you so much for joining. Oh, and by the way, I do have an Anchor podcast. You can find it on my page as well. If you have podcasts, you could look for me on Throne Room Divulgence. You could find me on different podcasts. I use the platform where I upload them on the platform I use is Anchor. So you can find me on Anchor. You can find me on Google Cast. You can find me on Spotify. And hold on a second. There's like 7 different pages that I'm on. 7 different pages. Let me see if I can connect you with them right here while you're on with me. It's almost embarrassing. I don't know what 7 they are. But you can always listen on Breaker Podcast. You can listen on Google Podcast, on Overcast. You can listen on Pocket Cast. You can listen on Radio Public Cast, Spotify Cast, and you can always find me on Anchor. So if you just want to do the audio parts, if you're driving, just connect to those podcasts. Just connect on there, and you could hear it on your phone, connected to your auxiliary, to your car. I mean, however you want to do it, I'll let you figure that part out. But thank you so much. Listen, it's so important that we know who God is. We have to know God on a level that is so deep. Deeper than knowing your own children. Oh, Phil, are you crazy? I know God more than my children? Yes, we have to know God more than our children. I'm not saying don't love your children. I'm not saying, replace your children with God, because you can't do that. You can't replace your children with God, because they're completely two different. They hold 2 different how can I say this? They hold 2 different purposes in your life. You have your children to raise them and to connect with you on a natural level, and to connect with you on a really deep level. But God is He's our creator, right? He's our creator. We need God on every level of life that there is. If we want our kids to be healthy, we have to know God. If we want our kids to be strong in the Lord and blessed, we have to know God. If we can't put that on ourselves to say, hey, well, I'll bless my kids. That's what Christmas does. It puts so much pressure on the parents to provide extravagant gifts. But it's what God does for us is every day He wants to give us an extravagant gift, which is His presence is the greatest thing. We don't go to God because we need something. We shouldn't. We should go to God because we love Him, and because we desire to spend time with Him, and because we desire to go into a different dimension in a different world, and to experience something better and greater than what the world has to offer. The world has nothing to offer us that is on a level of the goodness of God. The world has things to offer that just satisfy us for a short time. God satisfies the deepest places in our soul and in our spirit. God sustains us. He gives us a sustenance in our spirit, in life, in our breath. He gives us blessings and promises and miracles, and it's a different realm. It's a different place of being. It's a different dimension. When we connect with God on this level of knowing Him and loving Him, and continuing to just connect with Him, and enter into the portal of His love and His presence, right? So it's very important that we know Him. We have to spend our lives knowing Him. David, he did that. He was out in the field. He was tending sheep. He connected with God on such a deep level that, I don't think we'll ever understand until we start doing it ourselves. I think that some things just come by revelation. Some things just come by the throne room of God. Some things just come because He releases it to us, right? There is no searching of His understanding. Listen to this. Isaiah 40:28. Hast thou not known? Have you not known, or have you not heard? That the everlasting God, the Lord, the Creator of the ends of the earth, faints not, neither is He weary. There is no searching of His understanding. We are completely incapable of understanding who He is. That's why the church is such a mess. That's why we see so much depression. That's why we see so many suicides. That's why we see so many murders. It's like 30-40%. In some places, it's sky. Some places in Africa, all they do is kill, steal, and destroy. They're cannibalizing people. Nineveh was like that. The Canaanites were like that. They sacrificed to Moloch, Baal, children, and if you include abortion, man, we're up there. Humanity is at over 1 billion suicides in the whole world, and that's incredible. And America's at, really, it's not 60 million. It's they dumb down the real abortions and the real killings. And we heard this from experts. So that's at about 100 million. But on paper it's 60 million, but that's still a lot. And it's because, and that's because we don't know God. And Satan takes us to places that we've never thought we'd ever be. Satan takes us into places. He'll take us into places that we've never wanted to go or see or understand. There's some videos that I saw that I wish I'd never saw. I think there's some that we need to see, like abortion. Some of us don't even have a clue. And the perversion that's out there, we really don't have a clue. We really don't have a clue about the perversions that are out there. That's why when things happen in America, the whole voting system was a sham and a mess. People don't know how they can do that. How has this country gone so far? It's because we don't We don't grasp the evil that's out there. How can someone eat someone else? It's happening. How can someone chop somebody up? So down in Mexico with the cartels, the way that you prove yourself as a cartel member is you have to outdo someone in the evil that they do, how they kill people. They chop them up, they chop them to pieces, and they have to outdo each other to prove their status within the memberships of the cartel. So I understand. I know that they're starting now to eat, to pull the heart out of the dead bodies while it's still alive and beating, by the way. So it's not, the body's not dead yet, and take a bite out of it. I mean, that's incredible evil. It's such a perverse and dark situation. But we as Christians, we have to know the power of God now, and we have to understand who God is and how much love, but how much we need Him so that we don't go into the dark realms and we don't slip into, that stuff, that darkness comes, it creeps up on you, and before you know it, it's overtaking you. And we need God to protect us and to be the perfection that we look to, so that we can always strive towards excellence and not get caught up in these things. Some of you know, drug addiction. I was in gang life. I was a hardcore gang guy. I've seen things, terrible things. I've done terrible things, and God pulled me out of that stuff, man, and that perversion. I've done some pretty, not so things that I'm very proud of, Thank God for taking away my shame, and I can use that to help people, and of course understand the mind of the enemy. But I also am so blessed to know God's way. Listen to this. God has pulled me out of so much, but he, no matter where you are, He can pull you out of wherever you are. Listen to this. As for God, His way is perfect. The word of the Lord is tried, and He is a buckler to all of those that trust in Him. You know what a buckler is? You know how you have a belt buckle? You have a belt buckle on your pants, and it holds up your pants. It holds up and it girds up your pants, and it keeps you covered, right? So He holds you up. He's a pillar. He holds you up, and He takes you into sweet places. He takes you into diverse places, and there's diverseness of His Spirit and His baptisms. There's different types, and so He takes that and He brings us into different realms and different dimensions of His presence, and there's no end to that. And so we're in a place where we see the darkness the world is, and we begin to understand, and He begins to reveal to us, divulge on us really what the world is all about, and how dark and demonic demons are, hell and Satan. I mean, the stuff that they come up with and the sin that they come up with, there's no end, and until death. It'll take you right into death. That's why people sacrifice babies. Could you imagine if you can side with abortion and vote for policies of killing and ripping babies apart piece by piece and limb from limb, and burning it to death and sailing a little creature that God created. There's nothing that you won't do to a human being who's alive, and look at what Hitler did to the Jews. Listen, we got to know God. We have to know Him. We have to know Him. You have to know Him on a deeper level, in a deeper way, in a deeper place. Lord, show us who You are. Reveal to us Your beauty. Reveal to us the light in which You were made of. Reveal to us Your power and Your presence. Let us feel it. Let us experience it. May it be manifested deep within our spirit. In Jesus' name we pray. Hey, God bless you. Visit me on my website. Say hello on Twitter. Say hello on my social media, and just give me a follow, a like, a share. God bless you. May you have a beautiful and wonderful day.